I've come up with the most boring, sleep-inducing activity I can find.
June has finally come to an end, with tons of games to be looking forward to, like Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy, or maybe even Final Fantasy, but there was one game I was waiting to see for the entirety of that month, and that was Final Fantasy Sonic Frontiers. Keep in mind, it's not the same excitement as the games I just mentioned, because at least with the Final Fantasy games, I know I'm gonna like them. I don't know if I'm gonna like Frontiers. I swear, the more info I get of this game, the more intrigued I am of it. There are things that I'm excited about, and there are things that I'm worried about, all bundled up in some of the worst marketing I've ever seen. So I just want to take the time to get all of my feelings out for this game before it releases. Keep in mind, I have not played this yet. All of my thoughts are based off the things that Sega showed and talked about. You can say that's unfair, but in my defense,
how the fuck would you show me something if I couldn't have it then?
Also, this video is just my opinion, and it could very well change after I post this. Cause I don't want to be one of those guys who see one trailer and go, that's it, I've had it, I was already hanging on by a thread and Sega just cut it, I can't do this shit anymore. Nah, cause I'm gonna be honest, I saw all the negative press Sonic Forces was getting, and I still got it the month it came out, so I have like zero standards. So without further ado, hi, I'm Kai, nice to meet you, and let's get bitchy. The game got officially announced in May of 2021 in a Sonic Central, and since that didn't have any gameplay, we couldn't really talk about much. And we didn't get our next info drop until December of 2021 at the Game Awards, which showed off some set pieces of the game, but still no gameplay. And we finally got our first gameplay reveal last month, and there's always one thing that stuck in my mind whenever I saw this game. This game looks weird. From like a graphic standpoint, this game looks amazing, but from an art style standpoint, it looks really off. With the game having these beautiful graphics in realistic settings, it completely takes me out of the experience. Sonic just doesn't look like he belongs in the first place. And I get that's the point and what Sonic Team is going for, with Sonic entering a new world that's unfamiliar to him. But there needs to be some kind of visual consistency between the characters and the settings to make it look not so jarring. I get that Sonic has been placed in realistic settings before, but in those instances, the worlds are either stylized to make it not look so off-putting, or the games just look cartoony by default due to the hardware's limitations. I've seen a lot of people bring up 06 as an example, but I don't think that works for two reasons. 1. 06 looks bad, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. 2. In order for the characters to fit in that world, they had to give them slight redesigns. Like, look at Sonic in 06, he's taller, lankier, his quills are longer, all so that he doesn't look out of place in Soliana. That is not the case here. It's as jarring as booting up a realistic map and then putting a cartoon character there. It's gonna take a while to get used to, and I know eventually I'll get used to it. But not now. But you know what I won't get used to though? Never mind the visuals, the game could be hot doo-doo butter as long as the game is fun. Just look at Pokemon. What confuses me about Frontiers is the world design. Like, why are there so many random objects placed everywhere? It gives me the vibes of a test room in a fan game. Which I know I'm not the first, or will I be the last person to say this, but the fact that it's a common opinion just shows what I mean. In one of the footages, the guy ran into a hidden rail on the ground, and I could just tell it's gonna be happening throughout the entire game. I wanna be wrong. God, I hope I'm wrong. But I'm just calling it as I see it. And what I'm seeing is that either the zones are just littered with random objects everywhere, or they're just this. And you know what? I don't mind the empty fields. When I picture a Sonic game like this, I just want to run around at super speed. And from the looks of it, Sonic looks amazing to control. He's plenty fast, which is exactly what I'm looking for. But if we're discussing speed, I have to bring up a certain topic. It's kind of forbidden when talking about this game. Momentum. I know there's been a lot of debates on whether momentum should be in the game or not, and while I don't think the gameplay should focus on that, I think that if you run down a hill, you should be faster than normal, and unless I'm blind, I don't think I noticed that in any of the gameplay trailers. If anything, I noticed Sonic has a speed cap, meaning that no matter what, Sonic's max speed would be the same. And I also noticed that the only way you can consistently get that max speed is through the boost button. And not only that, I noticed that in the gameplay trailers, the player was constantly losing speed unless he pressed the boost button. So from what I can infer, the only way you can consistently get to max speed is by pressing the boost button over and over and over again. And I haven't seen anybody else bring it up, so I don't know if I'm missing something or not. So if you think I'm wrong about this, please tell me in the comments, because I hope to God the game isn't like that. I'm not expecting to go blistering speeds throughout the entire thing, but I just hope that I don't have to keep on boosting in order to gain some type of speed. Something else I don't like about the level design are the puzzles. I think for this type of game, it's unneeded. Like, this game has tons of platforming and enemies to fight. I don't know why it needs slow-paced puzzles to get items. And I wouldn't even be as annoyed if they weren't so simple. Turn the statue. Run on a hamster wheel. Commit tax fraud. They're boring and they don't utilize Sonic speed at all. So what I'm hoping for is more speed-based puzzles. I think a good example of this are the towers that we've seen throughout the game, and how you solve them is how you approach them. But from what I've seen, they don't give you anything when you reach the top, so they just seem pointless. So I think if they give us more puzzles like the tower and give us a reward at the end, then I think it'd be much better for the game's pacing. But until then, we're just stuck with this. Also, the guy who did this puzzle messed up on his first attempt.
That's it, mister. You just lost your brain privileges.
Hey, remember that part in Zavok's fight in Sonic Forces where everyone went, "Oh shit, Sonic's fucking him up!" Well, with the new combat features of this game, every enemy is Zavok. And dude, I love this. I don't just have to keep mindlessly homing attack enemies. I could combo them after a homing attack. I could shoot wind blades at them. Sonic has this really cool move called the Psy Loop, where you can just launch enemies in the air after running around them. I noticed this game is a lot more combat focused because enemies just take a while to take down now. And can we talk about the parry? Not only can you just dodge enemy attacks, but when an enemy tries attacking you, you can just bitch them out of existence. As much as I like the Werehog sections in Unleashed, it looks like the combat at Frontiers matches the speed of Sonic. It is fast and it doesn't break the pacing of the game. And with the skill tree, you're able to unlock more moves, like the Psy Loop, so the combat will always be interesting. Like unlocking that really cool move I see in the trailers, or that tornado move that looks, what is Sonic doing? Everything from the combat looks great. Fighting the enemies look fun. Except for the Titans. These giant machines that you gotta run up to in order to hit their weak spot. But fighting the machine itself isn't an issue since you can attack it in multiple ways. The issue is climbing up the enemy itself, which does not look fun. The Titans just show a lack of polish in this enemy design, from how easy it is to fall off on accident, to how off the Titans' animations look. Actually, a lot of the game's animations don't look good. To how easy the fight looks in general. These fights and the puzzles are the worst parts of the game I've seen. And since these guys look required, I'm hoping that they're improved on when the game releases, cause if they're not, I think I'm gonna die inside. The other thing I don't have an issue with is the music. I love that they're going for a whole new style with this game, using pianos as the backdrop, and I think that's nice. Like, the song in the teaser is only like 30 seconds long and it is really catchy. I only have like a couple hopes for this. I think it'd be really cool that as soon as you enter a battle, the piano turns into a more intense version of the song playing. And that's it. Look, if there's one thing I know about being a Sonic fan, it's that Sonic Team will make some of the best soundtracks ever made for one of the worst things ever created. So even if this game is garbage, I have faith in them. And another thing I have faith in is the story. Since I grew up with games like Sonic Adventure 2 and Sonic and the Black Knight, I was always more of a fan of the serious type of stories in the 2000 games than the comedic kind of stories in the 2010s. And Frontier seems to be going in the 2000 style direction. All I know about this story so far is that Sonic ends up in an island all by himself, separated from his friends, and so he has to try rescuing them. That's it, that's the basic synopsis. And since I have no idea what's gonna happen, I have no suggestions. I just trust them. If you guys noticed, I'm starting to sound a lot more positive as the video goes on, even though the title says that I'm worried about this game. A Sonic game can have a really good story and soundtrack, but if the gameplay's ass,
Know your fucking place, trash!
and I'm having a hard time making out if I'm gonna enjoy this game because
Oh no!
the worst thing about this game is the marketing, without a doubt. The upside is that it won't matter when the final product comes out. The downside is that before that, it makes the waiting so much worse. Like I said before, ever since its reveal last year, we didn't see any gameplay of it until last month. But instead of giving us like a normal 3-minute trailer, they thought it'd be best to give us little bits of news spread out through the entirety of the month. Teasers, 7-minute gameplay, interviews. All you really need to know with how well that went was looking at the response to the first 7-minute gameplay trailer we got. It looked bad, really bad. So bad that I almost made a Frontiers video before the end of June. Then we had a second gameplay trailer, and it looked better. People are now starting to get optimistic, but to me personally, it didn't look that much better. And the more and more we started seeing this game, the more everyone started to get hopeful about this game's quality. Meanwhile, I was still worried. I think what finally turned me around on this game were two things. One was the demo. Tons of industry professionals were able to play it at the Summer Games Fest, and it got really positive receptions. Of course, we couldn't see anything from the demo because Sega wouldn't allow anybody else besides the people who were playing it to view it. We had to rely on blurry, leaked footage to find anything new about this game. They were chaining this shit up like it was Tai Lung. It was crazy. Street Fighter 6? Let's just show the gameplay to everybody. We even have big YouTubers show it off on their channel. Sonic Frontiers? Take one pic and your dog seeing the pearly gates. We got Sonic Central in the middle of the month. All they really did was show another 30-second teaser. Believe it or not, the most amount of info we've gotten of this game was from a Nintendo Direct Mini. We got character reveals, we got key art, and the second reason why I turned around on this game, the cyberspace levels. Oh shit, they got a Columbus stage. Stages most reminiscent of Boost games that was in the demo at the Summer Games Fest that Sega did not want us to see. And the reason it took me this long to mention these was to highlight how long it took Sega to mention these. Like, why would you keep this hidden from us? This is like one of the coolest stages I've ever seen in a Sonic game, and they were just hiding it from us. Like, what? Why? What's wrong with you guys? I am so glad I waited to release this video in like July, because if I released it in June, then I would have missed out on this, and then I'd just be kicking myself for like the rest of the month. And I almost forgot to mention the return of Green Hill. Man, I haven't seen this guy since... I know this video has been all over the place, but in my defense, that was how I felt about Frontiers for like the entire month. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't more positive since the beginning of June. The combat looks fun. The story sounds good. Cyberspace looks great. But running around in the open space, which is the main appeal for me, I'm just not a fan. But I am hoping that when the final product comes out, that it is the amazing game that everyone hopes for it to be, including me. But if I don't enjoy the game because of the gameplay, then it's fine. I have like 2 big ass Final Fantasy games coming out next year. I will not only live, I will fucking thrive. But I have had a history in being wrong in the past. Just like Judgment Day, a Gen 8 Pokemon being added to Smash is inevitable. Everyone already loves Platinum, and this might be a better Platinum. Well, I believe that this will not only be the best portable system of all time, but it'll help give Nintendo the push they need to make the best system they've ever made. But I've also had a history of being right in the past, and I think the only way to fix this issue is to add Sephiroth in Smash. What, that's it? Also, you want proof that I should have waited? While I was recording this, I found out that Big the Cat is in the game, and there's a fishing minigame with him. You know what? I take back everything I said. This game's gonna be goated. Anything with fishing is automatically a banger. This is why Sonic Adventure is top 5 Sonic game. I'm not kidding, by the way.